First of all, thank you all for taking the time out to join us. And I'm really excited to have Juan from Orbis joining us today. Thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure. We recently met each other, but I was aware of the guys you were working on for years, so it's a real pleasure.
That's awesome. And so, for anyone that's unfamiliar with who you guys are and kind of your platform and plugin, could you give us kind of like a intro to what you guys do?
Yeah, so Auribus Music is basically a voice swap service. If you're a musician, well, it's actually targeted to musicians because it's mostly singing voices and rapping voices. So what you do, it's not speech, text to speech, it's actually speech to speech. So if you want to have like a female voice in your project and you're a male sounding person or a male, what you do is you actually have to sing, upload your input, and the output will be sounding like the female you chose for your project. You can also create your custom voices that are for personal use. And we're both a web-based and a plugin-based service. It's a plugin that you can integrate into your DAW, Pro Tools, Ableton, pretty much most of them.
That's awesome. And kind of with the rise of like AI plugins and tools, I'm sure everyone here has seen things like the likes of like Ozone and other tools. Like, what really like inspired you guys to like create this tool? Because I feel like it's something very different than maybe other kinds of AI integrations and like audio workflows that we've seen. So like, where did kind of like the maybe need or thing that you guys saw come from?
Yeah, so actually, Orbus started as a music for media library. We were in the sync business, right? We had this very cool boutique company that in which we used AI for search before AI became this hot word. And eventually, around early 2023, with the explosion of AI, a lot of musicians that we were working with kept reaching out with questions like, hey, what's going on? Do you have any insights on how to get ready, prepare to this quote unquote threat? And me and my partner decided, like, what can we do? Well, why don't we work on voice, which feels like probably like the last digital tool in music to conquer, really, because we have access to triggering orchestras with our keyboards, and but in the world of voice, we felt like there was a big opportunity to keep working. So the reason that inspired us to starting this project is there's two reasons. One is the creative reason, which is I myself used to be a composer for advertising and a lot of visual media as well. And a lot of times in the world of media and sync, turnaround times are very tight. You normally get 1 day, 2 day turnaround, and sometimes you need vocals in your project. And sometimes one doesn't have the time to reach out to the network and see who's available, or even if you get a hold of a voice, maybe the client will be like, yeah, you know what, I didn't love the voice. So we felt that there was a need there that could be solved with AI. And if you go to Oribus today, if you're in need for different types of voices or building harmonies, you can go in there and get it done in seconds, really. And in the case a client said, let's change the voice, you can go in and change the voice and very quickly, right? So we're tackling the problem with timing and costs, right? So Oribus is solving a bit of that as well. And the second thing that sort of inspired us to building this is actually building a publishing model that's sustainable moving forward, because we saw there was a huge IP crisis in the world of AI, right? And there still is. There's hardly any legislation in place to protect the artists behind. So what we do at Auribus is we offer the best the AI has to offer, which is speed, convenience, and cost savings. But at the same time, we want to provide the humans behind the AI the possibility to being tied to revenue. So at Auribus, 50% of our revenue goes towards the voices. So we pay out royalties akin to mechanical royalties.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about like the development process of like the plugin itself. Were there any kind of particular challenges or hurdles that you guys had to overcome?
No, so I think I might have jumped the gun on my earlier response. So a little bit about how this was born is it started as a side project when we were working on the sync library, and it became sort of like a fun experiment on the side. And it started as a web-based bare bones beta. And initially, we started noticing that the people we were presenting it to, they started using it in the real world. And very quickly, they started demanding for more things, like, hey, more voices, or, but the one thing that they asked for the most was having an actual plugin. And that's what we did. And that's one of our biggest pride is the actual plugin. It's very simple to use and it works in most DAWs. And yeah, that was the strongest piece of feedback we got from the users.
Interesting. And like, did you guys start like when it came to like developing the plugin itself and with the library? So did you guys right off the bat have like the amount of voices that you do now, or kind of did it start off as something small and expand from
Yeah,
there?
yeah, we started real small, and we're not like, for instance, with the voices, it's not like an open marketplace. Let's say I'm a singer and I discover Auribus. It's not like I can automatically upload my voice, and it's very a one-on-one deal with each voice. We have legal agreements, so we get their express consent in writing, and then we train the voices. And the reason why we do this is not yet open to the public for a couple of reasons. One is our target users are people that work in media and are expecting a certain quality in the voice. So for us, being able to have one-on-ones with each voice and finding the right sound and getting the best you can get in sound is very important for us to keep it direct for now. And also, what happens a lot is that we've seen it happen in Web3 as well, is when you have open places when people can upload stuff and assets, it lends itself for scammers, right? So if we were to open up today the voices to anyone that wanted to work in there, automatically it'll be hard for us to validate the authenticity or the ownership, like, of the person uploading the voice. Like, if we opened it, we would have, there's a chance people will be uploading someone else's voice, right? So that's a big problem, especially because we're working with professional musicians that they need to have the peace of mind when uploading their music into a TV show, a film, a video game. They need to have the peace of mind that this is clear. This is ethically sourced voices.
So to kind of sum up my end of the questions and everyone who's tuned in, we'll move to your questions next. So if there's anything that you want to ask, please drop it in the chat over here, and we'll get to it in a few. What would you say? Because there are still skeptics in the audio world when when it comes to AI. Like, what's something that you would say to them?
That I get it. I was skeptic myself. I used to work for a company here in the States called Pandora. It's one of the first music streaming giants. You probably remember Abby when you were a kid. And I remember I was the point person in vetting music for media libraries. And I remember back in 2018 when we got approached by two music libraries that were creating music purely with AI, purely with prompts. Like there would be no human involvement other than the person typing the request. So at first I'm like, whoa, it's like, what is going on? If it just felt very scary at the time. But then I started getting into it and understanding that this technology, as any technology in history, is here to expand. Today, I don't see it as a threat. I see it as possibilities to being unlocked. I feel like it's not my job to tell what people should feel. I think because technology historically goes up like this, it might plateau for a little bit, but it's always going up. So I don't think it's our job to fight the technology. I think it's our job to fight, quote unquote, the humans behind it, like creating the legislation and the systems, you know. So the music industry historically has been quite oppressive. And so this is no news that we're the musicians feeling oppressed once again. So that's part of our bigger mission at Auribus, right? Like building a model that's sustainable moving forward, because this technology is here to stay. So what I feel with AI is historically all industries suffer dramatic change. Now the thing is with AI, the change is being dramatic across all industries, looks like. So I think everybody is in shock in a way. But if you think about it, in our industry, there's always been like groundbreaking technology. You know, who would have thought like 50 years ago that you would be humming or like loving a song that's been purely done with drum machines and samples and MIDI instruments, right? And fast forward to today, and a lot of the music that we listen and love has a lot of that, and people are not protesting it. So I think, yeah, I think it's quite exciting.
I really like that. Um, so let's move on to some of the questions that are in the chat box. Guys, if there's anything else that you'd like to ask, feel free to drop it over here in the chat on the side. So, okay, first question. Juan, are you a programmer?
I am not. I'm actually a trained musician. I've been involved with music my whole life. I went to music school, and I later on became to I started working in music publishing. When I was working at the bigger corporation, I was brokering sync deals between big artists and advertisers. So I'm not a programmer.
Next question. Does the plugin work with an LLM or is it your tech?
Yes, so we're working with open source technology that has been ethically sourced. So the core of our technology is RVC, and we have a few like custom tweaks that we've done to it.
Will you stay in just vocal replacement or are you planning other products?
That's a great question. We have a huge roadmap ahead of us. Right now, we're focused in voice, and in fact, inside of voice, there's a lot of offerings that we would like to deploy, offerings and applications. For instance, since we launched, which is 3 months ago, we've even had famous VO artists, like spoken word artists, really liking our model. So they're like, when can we have this model applied to spoken word? So that's one of the lower hanging fruits that we have in the near future. But that said, I think we're working. I cannot disclose, but we will have other applications outside of voice as well.
Joe asks, how can we try the plugin you mentioned?
Yeah. So I can. You can try it for free. If you go to Auribus.io, you can try it for free. If you would like to keep exploring it, feel free to shoot me an email, and we can go from there. I can give you more access so you can try it.
Is it a subscription or one-time payment, like perpetual?
It's a subscription. So, you know, the reason why it's a subscription is because, first of all, you have to be online to be using our service. And for us, it's we share our revenue with the voices. So for us, it's about keeping them tied to revenue. And another reason why it's a subscription base is because after doing a lot of research, we came to the conclusion that it's still a good deal considering the time you save and the costs you save, right? Here, you don't have to deal with unions or some other extra fees. So we thought it was the right model. Now, that said, we will be releasing the Flex Packs, which allow new users to come on in and buy a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, without having to subscribe. That's coming very soon.
Someone wrote, I tried and loved it last week for the first time. The only thing I wish you had was replacing vocals to other instruments like keys or strings. Do you think it's technically possible?
Absolutely. It's actually in our roadmap. It's absolutely doable. And I love this. I love feedback because for us, it's like we work off of feedback mostly.
How does it work in a nutshell?
Yeah, so it's pretty much, it's performance for performance. The way it works is you have to sing or someone else has to sing. So you upload it and then you convert it. If you sing out of tune or with an accent, it's going to come out sounding out of tune with an accent. So it's pretty accurate. There's no gimmick, right? There's no auto tuning, any of that. So our goal is to deliver you a raw performance. One of the fun things is like you could be on the street recording an input with your phone with background noise, and the output is going to come out sounding much better. That's one of the nice things about it too.
Guys, does anyone have any other things to ask? Feel free to drop it in the comments. And I will also add that this webinar is recorded, so in a few weeks it'll also be available on our YouTube channel. I'll post about it on Instagram and the All Access Discord, so you'll be able to refer back to it in general. And someone asked, what inspired you to start Auribus?
Yeah, so it goes back to when AI exploded as a thing in 2023, more into the mainstream. So we used to be a music for media library where if you're a production company looking for a song for a specific use, you would come in, you would source the song you liked, and it was instant licensing. So when AI became this massive thing, our workload went down like almost to half because production companies were finding other alternatives for much cheaper and faster apparently. So we felt like, okay, what if we build something in AI that is both ethical and quick? So part of the reason was that sort of like, okay, there's a chaos in the world of AI with how things are being sourced. So we wanted to build an AI product that was ethically compliant and fair while delivering the best the technology has to offer. And so it was born out of that. And from personal experience, I used to make a lot of music for media. And sometimes I didn't have the time to reach out to a network of voices. So sometimes I needed to have a voice right there, super quick. So that's what Auribus mainly helps you achieve.
Can it do multi-layer vocals like a group of singers?
One feature Auribus has is like with one input you upload, you can select multiple voices at the same time. So you're gonna get results all at the same time of different voices. And one fun thing about it is each voice is gonna have the octave that you plugged in, plus octave higher, octave lower, fifths, up and down, thirds, up and down. So that allows you for probably a quick browse, probably quick like harmony stacks, or in the case, let's say my voice, right? It's a little on the lower side, on the lower pitch. If I'm singing and I'm replacing it with a female's, it's likely that my voice is going to be outside of her range. So that's why we offer you a higher octave so you can be in her range and not push it. So one, I'm not sure if your question is referring to this, but one thing we're working towards is being able to trigger a choir. You know, like if I sing happy birthday to you, having that little melody coming out as a Gregorian chant or a stadium full of voices, right? So emulating a group of people. That's something we're working towards that I think is going to be super fun to have.
So I think that's a wrap on the questions. Juan, thank you so much again for taking the time out and giving us a deep dive into this whole new universe.
Thank you, guys. I'm looking forward to the things you're going to be building and releasing as well. So thank you so much for having me. Thanks to the people asking questions. Thanks everyone for showing up and hearing me talk.
It was great to have you on. And guys, this will be available in a few weeks on the Safari YouTube channel. Once again, I'll update on Discord and Instagram. And thank you guys all for taking the time out. We'll be in touch.